How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Oceans Reviews here today. So another month has passed and that can only mean another video, and we're going to go over everything I watched in the month of November. So a pretty good month for me movie wise. I got a lot of movies watched and done and finished, a lot of things I enjoyed, but yeah, so if you guys are new to this channel, I make one of these videos every month where I essentially just go over all the movies I watched in that said month. I record all of my movies on my Letterboxd account, so yeah, that's a handy tool that you can use if you're a movie lover. You can you have like a diary, I guess, over there where you can record what movies you watched on what day, and you can give them a rating and a review if you like, or things like that. And I use that tool to sort of prepare these videos for you guys. So yeah, this month didn't really get to watch as much as I usually do. I was just such a busy month. Yeah, had a lot of stuff going on, and I wasn't really able to find the time, you know, to watch as many movies as I would have liked. But I got some good things here that I wanted to share with you guys and talk about movie-wise. TV show-wise, I haven't watched anything, so really there's no mention there for TV shows. But anyway, let's get into the movies. So how this works is you'll see like a little picture, a little box, and it'll just start, and I'll have like a number next to it on what date I watched what movie, and like a rating as well. So let's start now. So first movie I watched of the month was The Suicide Squad. So I think I liked this film. I think I liked it more than the other Suicide Squad film. I just felt a bit off about it for some reason. There was something there that I didn't really like. Now I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he was in it and I just didn't like it because he was in it. Let me try and find him. For some reason I can't think of his name, and that's Pete Davidson. So there you go. For some reason I forgot his name. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Pete Davidson, like at all. Like, I just don't like him. I think he's kind of annoying and a bit obnoxious, and I don't know. Like, having him in it was just a bit, for me at the start. I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I wasn't really too happy with it. But, you know, he was sort of dealt with and got rid of quite quickly, I guess, in the film early on. So I guess it wasn't really a huge problem, but it already set that tone for me. Like, it sort of set that taste in my mouth. Like, at the start of the film, he's in it and it's like, but first time being introduced to Peacemaker, or the Peacemaker, as a character, and I thought he was really cool. I liked John Cena in that role. He was really cool. It surprised me, actually, and I feel like he lives up to the hype, you know, because I've heard so many good things about that character, or just how cool he is and how good the TV show is, and I was happy to experience him, like, as a character in that film. I thought it was good. I did think there was a few things that needed to be cut, like that, just a bit over the top and a bit weird, but anyway, overall, I think I preferred it more than the other film, but I do like the other film as well, the other Suicide Squad film. I don't know why it gets as much hate as it does, but I think they were both okay overall. I think they were both fun. And then we watched Wonder Woman. So I guess at the start of the month I was thinking, like, I kind of want to brush up on my DC a bit because I've been lacking in that department. And I never really watched. I watched a bit of the second Wonder Woman film, a little bit, like parts of it, but I never just like got through it for some reason. Something that I need to return to. But this film was really good. Like, I thought, yeah, it was a good film. It was a good superhero film. I really enjoyed it, Wonder Woman. So I gave that like a pretty good rating. Gal Gadot was really good in this role as Wonder Woman, and I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I expected a lot less, and I thought it was a good film. It was a good film. Then we watched Her with Joaquin Phoenix. I did buy this at CEX and I watched it like literally like the next day I got it, because I was really intrigued by this film. It just sounded interesting by the, like, I guess the synopsis on the back, or the blurb on the back. Watched it, and I really liked it. I really liked her. It was a really good film. It was quite depressing, pretty lonely, but overall, I thought it was done really, really well. The concept was kind of cool. Like, it was pretty cool, like, little concept they had going on there in the film. But, you know, I feel like if you want to feel kind of depressed, you should watch, I don't know, watch that film if you want to feel that way. Yeah, it definitely sets that sort of tone, but I thought it was really good. I feel like it's a film I'll revisit. Great performance as well by Joaquin Phoenix. I really enjoyed it. That was a really good film. Her. Highly recommend that. Then we watched Eraser. So I bought this. I'm not sure if I showed you guys the previous Blu-ray update. I might have bought that. I forget. But I watched it. I wanted to give it a go. I think I heard Matt V's movies. He picked it up at some stage, or the second film, the Eraser Reborn film, and he was talking about it. And he showed it in one of his videos, and sort of kept an eye out for it, because, you know, I do like my Arnie action films. I like Arnie, of course, Arnold, but this film was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great action film. I had a lot of fun with this one, especially the trying to think. So what happened in this film? Like, the plane scene was really good and done really well. Was it the plane scene? Yeah, that plane scene was amazing. And also, like, the alligator sort of scenes at the zoo was really good as well. I really enjoyed that. I'm trying to think about it, because, you know, I watch these movies at the start of the month, so I'm just trying to, like, recuperate, you know, about them. But I remember, you know, I had a lot of fun with Eraser. I thought it was a great action film. It feels kind of underrated as well, like more of his more underrated films, Arnie. Then we watched Blade Runner 2049. This was a first time watch for me. I was blown away. Like, this film is so good. Like, I've been obsessed, like, with Blade Runner, like, ever since. Honestly, I've been obsessed. Like, I think this film was done really well. The visuals are amazing. The sounds was just, the sound in it was just so cool and immersive, and it gets you just so immersed in this city, in this dystopian world of just, I don't know, this futuristic dystopian world. It just seems so great. Like, it just felt so cool to watch on screen, and it looked amazing on Blu-ray, even though it was Blu-ray. But I'm definitely going to be upgrading this one to 4K. I had such a good time with Blade Runner 2049. I gave it a really good review, or a good rating at least. But yeah, so then I watched Knowing. Nicolas Cage in Knowing. So this one was kind of, I liked it a lot. There was a few bits I had, like, few things I had wrong with it, but I've been thinking about this film ever since I watched it, and I've done a review for it. It would have been, I guess, last week, as this video is going up. So, and it was really good. I've been thinking about it. It's been in the back of my mind, this movie, since I've watched it. And I feel like it's been one of the better Nicolas Cage films that I've watched. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is a great Nicolas Cage film that I think you should watch. Great sort of, like, natural disaster kind of action scenes, almost like Final Destination like, though, as well. The story element was a bit wacky. It takes a weird turn, but overall I think it was good. It was enjoyable. There's a few things I would have changed, that's all. And then we watched Punisher Warzone. This one was really good. I was really surprised by the action in this film. I didn't think it was going to be as gritty and as violent as it was. I thought it just might have been like your sort of average, sort of toned down action film, you know, your run-of-the-mill type film. But I just felt the action was just elevated in this one and just takes like a super violent tone, which I felt like I just didn't expect. I do enjoy the Thomas Jane version of The Punisher more, just because the story has more substance. You know, it's more story driven, I feel like, that film. And this one is more action based and just sort of jumps right into it. But overall, I enjoy both films, I feel like, quite equally. I'd pick up any of them and give them a go any time of the day. I feel like they were really good. So then we watched Primal. This is another another Nicolas Cage film. Primal wasn't really that good. I thought, well, I'd done a review for it, so I watched it. Obviously, I've done a review, but it wasn't really that good, and Nicolas Cage couldn't save it either. I thought maybe him being in the film, he'd sort of bring something to it and save the movie from crashing and burning. But it wasn't a good film. It was probably, I'd say, probably close to the worst Nicolas Cage film I've seen as my Nicolas Cage review series has been going on. This has been probably the worst, I'd say probably the worst so far. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of Nicolas Cage, definitely give it a go, but don't expect much. I didn't really enjoy it, as much. So next page. We watched The Fifth Element for the first time. Bruce Willis. I really enjoyed this one. I thought the world was really cool. It was kind of wacky as well, but it was fun. They made it so fun and cool, and I just thought some of the scenes are really funny. And yeah, there was some funny scenes in this. It did feel a bit weird at times. Like, I don't know, it was just so different to watch. It was such a cool, like, sci-fi film. Obviously, it kind of reminded me of Blade Runner a little bit, just because of like the sort of the world that it was set in, like kind of like how it's kind of like futuristic. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Then I revisited Hulk with Eric Bana. So I've, for some reason, had a craving to like revisit the Hulk films. So I haven't watched the Incredible Hulk yet, but I wanted to revisit them. So I still have to buy that. So I'm going to buy that eventually and revisit the one with Edward Norton in it. But I really enjoyed it, still. Like, I remember watching this when I was, really young. The Hulk, I remember playing the video game. If any of you guys remember that original Hulk video game, I used to play that to death. Like, I was addicted to that game on the original Xbox. And it sort of, I guess it was like a little phase I was going through where I was watching that movie with Eric Bana in it, and I was playing that game, and I was having fun with both of them at the same time. But it was really good. I thought it holds up, up to today, at least for me, revisiting it wise. I mean, it does look a bit weird watching it now, like I guess like the transformation and Hulk being on screen doesn't really look as natural as what it was when I was a kid, but I still thought it was really good. I still enjoyed this one. I feel like I gave it a low rating. I don't know why, but maybe that sort of aspect of it sort of maybe gave it a 3 stars out of 5 because of like how the Hulk looked a bit unnatural on screen, but I still think it's a solid movie. I think it holds up until today. Not today's standards, but for me at least, revisiting it. Then we watched School of Rock with Jack Black. I just felt wanted to watch something lighthearted. This is one of my, not a go-to for me, but it's like, I guess, a bit of a comfort film for me. I don't have it physically, so I did stream this one. But it was enjoyable. It was a good movie. I like Jack Black in this film. I think it's a bit of fun, and yeah, School of Rock. Rewatched Forrest Gump. I rewatched Forrest Gump again. I think, it doesn't actually, I don't know, I do think it's a perfect film now. I still do think it. But I feel like my opinion of it has sort of changed. Like I've held it up in high regard for a very long time, but I feel like that has sort of changed a little bit as of my past recent viewing. I feel like because of the story element and, you know, Jenny, like, and what she goes through and stuff like that, I feel like that's sort of, I don't know, and I guess sort of how she like kind of treated Forrest, you know, throughout the film a little bit, you know. She like just held his feelings and had no like regard for them whatsoever. I feel like for some reason that's like lessened the quality of the film for me a little bit, like story wise, like revisiting it after, you know, maybe a good while, you know, just thinking about it, going back to it. But no, I still think it's a perfect film. But anyway, rambling on. Then I watched Kill Bill Volume 1 for the first time. This one was really good. I really enjoyed the action scene in like that Japanese like bar tavern. That was just amazing. That was so cool. That was full on. And like, actually, it was interesting because that whole scene was in black and white on my version, but I've actually talked to some other people saying that they've actually watched the version of the film where that scene isn't in black and white, and I'm like, that's so cool. But to be honest, I don't mind that it's not in that it's in black and white. I think it kind of looks cool as well. And I searched it up, and apparently Quentin Tarantino mentions that it's because of, like, you know, obviously because it's a very violent scene, and he needed to tone it down a little bit, so he turned it like into black and white. But apparently there's a version of the film where you can watch it where that's not in black and white. So that'd be cool to watch at some point, because that scene was just insane. That was really cool. So then I watched Escape from New York. So I heard a lot of people talking about this over previous, like, you know, in other videos and over the past few months, and I picked it up like within that sort of John Carpenter collection that I bought over, I guess, Halloween. And I went ahead and checked it out, and I just didn't really enjoy it as much as like people make it out to be. Like, they make it out to be like just some amazing film. I think it's kind of overrated. I just thought they didn't explore the idea enough, like the prison idea. They didn't explore that enough. I felt like it was kind of bland. I felt like it wasn't really as good as I thought it might have been. I was kind of disappointed with that one. So I kind of gave it a bit of a low rating. I don't know. What do you guys think about Escape from New York? I just didn't really enjoy it as much. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to check out the other movies in that John Carpenter collection. I've got The Fog, Prince of Darkness, and They Live still to watch. So I'll come back and give you my thoughts on those as well. Then I watched Stand By Me. So this is like coming of age type film where like a group of kids go like hunting, I guess, for this dead body, you know. They go on like a little adventure, and it's, you know, obviously sort of, this movie set me in a weird like sort of feeling, like this weird way where it's like you watch it and you think about like, I guess it's sort of, you think about your own life after you watch it. At least for me, I thought about my own life and like what I was like when I was a kid and how I got up to just all sorts of stuff outside and doing all sorts of things. And then you just sort of realize that we're getting old as well. I feel like that's what this film did to me. It set it in my brain like, you're getting old, you know, and, you know, life goes quick sort of thing. I don't know. It was kind of weird. That's what it sort of made me feel. But it also made me reminisce on my childhood as well, which was, you know, it felt kind of nice. It felt like a blast from the past. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'll revisit this one again, of course. Let me know if you guys got that sort of same kind of feeling when watching Stand By Me. You know, you sort of like reminisce about your childhood and things like that. Because I definitely did. Then I watched Accepted. So this is kind of like a silly kind of comedy with Jonah Hill in it. I can't think of the other guy's name, but I've seen him in other comedies before as well. All I know that Jonah Hill's in it. He's in it. I've watched this movie a fair few times before, and I just kind of wanted to revisit it again. It's very silly, like the concept, the idea just wouldn't work whatsoever. It's just straight fictional, like I swear it is. But overall, it's just sort of something to just chuck on and have a good time with. It's not really, for me, meant to be taken seriously, but by all means, I don't think it's a good film. But I just, it's just a bit of fun, really, for me. It's just something that I can just watch and enjoy. And I guess it's also a bit of a comfort film. So something I can just whack on and watch and just have a good time with. So next page. So this is the last 2 movies of the month. So I watched Nope. Went ahead and watched this film. I am still unsure about this movie and how I feel about it. I don't think it's a bad film. But I don't think it's a good film either. I feel like the concept is pretty cool. I think it's original. I think it's kind of creative. It was definitely interesting. Like the way the way the story goes along. It's interesting. It's different. I think it's a solid attempt at just something different, something that we haven't seen before. I feel like, well, at least I haven't seen anything like this movie before. But it's weird because I feel like I did like it, but I feel like it's not a movie I'll watch again. So it's like a one-time watch for me, but I did enjoy it, but it feels like not a movie that you revisit too often. I didn't really understand what was going on with the monkey. Like that whole sort of side story there. Like I understand it had something to do with like Steven Yeun's character, but I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but I just don't understand where that fits in with the story or that whole thing there. But I thought overall the movie was good, but it's just not something that I feel like I'd revisit again. So tell me what you guys think about Nope down below, because I feel like it's just such an out of the ballpark movie. It's just so different. I feel like a lot of people would have a lot of different opinions about it. Then I watched Polar Express. It's a bit early to watch Polar Express, but I just feel like I wanted to watch it. This is like one of my favorite Christmas films. This is one that I'll watch every year, without fail. This is the movie I'll chuck on the 24th of December and watch Christmas Eve. This is a childhood favorite, I grew up with it, watching it. I think because I've watched it so much is because it always used to be on TV when I was growing up. So this film it was always on TV, like around Christmas time, December, I'm not sure what would it be like in your country if I was to ask that question, like what films were on TV when you were, around Christmas time. So it sort of made you feel like they're kind of films that you're going to have to revisit because you're so used to them and rewatching them all the time because they're on at Christmas and you watch them at Christmas. But yeah, so I guess it sort of turned into this like almost like this tradition to watch the Polar Express because you always would watch it on TV when it's December rolls around. And yeah, now I still watch it today. So every Christmas I watch the Polar Express, and I'll probably watch it again. I watched it on the 27th, it says here, but I'll probably watch it again. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's everything I watched in the month of November. Not really too many movies this month, but I did get through a fair few that I wanted to watch. I was happy with some of the movies I watched. So let me know down below like what you watched over the month of November. Did you have any standouts? Did you enjoy? Was there like a lot of good films that you enjoyed? Is there anything you didn't like that you watched? What do you think of my watches? I'd love to know. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.